Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Labb. I'm back for the first video in a bit. Might take a bit of a break for Christmas. Let's talk about this first though. So my good friend Shinzo here already made a video on this, and this what kind of sparked me to do it. So if you want to go check out his video, it'll be in the description, but do check that out after my video, of course. Right, so this is going to be less of a furry video, more of a based video, destroying the Republican Australian cocks. So this individual genuinely made My Little Pony videos and had his face covered using a fucking t-shirt.
Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. Let's spend the night together from now until forever. Boom, 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 boom.
Right, so let's get into talking about this video that he made and the video that drew me to this entire thing, titled simply, Non-binary people do not exist. First of all, you're Australian, you don't even exist. What the actual fuck are you talking about? Also, this guy speaks like Mark Zuckerberg. He planted a chip into him, made him a fucking robot, and shows legitimately zero fucking human emotion during the video. Is he okay? What's wrong? Please blink for help.
He gives you the cash, he so does give you the cash. He will get money from his videos, he will do what he can.
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
What the fuck did you actually just say? All I heard was money and can. I think his robot voice translator broke in the English setting.
Now, before you dislike this video and go on a tantrum about how non-binary people are real, hear out my arguments and evidence, and make sure you have watched this entire video and haven't skipped over any parts.
No. Look at the top of his head.
And if you still disagree with what I'm saying and have any objections, feel free to comment them down below, but please do it in a civilized and respectful manner. Now, let's get on with the video. To first understand what non-binary people are, we first have to understand what they are defined as. A non-binary person, by definition, is someone who doesn't identify as either male or female, and identifies as some other gender or think they don't have a gender at all. Now, we all know that there are only two genders, male and female, and that there are only two sexes, male and female, both of which fall into the binary category as there's only two of them.
Wrong. Sex and gender are completely unlinked, my friend. See, sex is biological, and gender is what society created to differentiate through the different genders. Through language, the words male and female were only made because the previous cavemen era people needed a way to tell the difference between the two sexes. Thus, gender was born. Gender is a societal construct, sex is biology. It's completely different and you're absolutely misinformed.
The word binary means that there are only two of something within a category. You can't say that something is non-binary and the rest is not when there are more than two things belonging to that category. If there is some other gender than male and female, that means there's more than two and everyone would be considered non-binary, including people who are male and female. So that would invalidate non-binary as the term for a third gender, because there is no binary. Non-binary people also say that your gender is what you think and feel in your head, and that it's not something that exists in physical reality. However, what you feel and think is what you are as an individual and what your personality is, but gender is completely separate from that because it's something that you physically and biologically have. This also invalidates trans people, because if you can feel and think what gender you have, then trans people wouldn't need surgery and hormonal injections to transform them into the gender that they want to be, because they would already think they're that gender.
I actually cannot believe what I just heard. This is quite possibly the stupidest thing I've ever heard. No wonder he's got the dislikes disabled, but they're all disabled from now on, so even the likes are disabled. Let me just address the first thing he said. Gender, once again, is not tied to biology. It was created by society to identify the difference between male and female fucking eons ago. With the rise of psychology and deeper learning of the human brain, we've learned that gender identity and further gender expression are now a fluctuating thing. A lot of people nowadays are more in touch with their feminine side of themselves, and you also mentioned that gender binary, yes, the base level, it's binary. Anything outside of the binary, i.e. people who don't identify as male or female, or both, would count as out of the binary, therefore non-binary. A lot of non-binary individuals also express themselves through gender expression, although it may not be mandatory that every single person is non-binary and see as gender ambiguous. They do this through gender expression, having more feminine traits on a guy's body, doing makeup, cosplaying as feminine or female, and cross-dressing can be all part of it. And the same thing for female, if they dress as a guy, cut their hair, and want to appear as either both having traits of both genders, they can do so. People can look like this but still identify as non-binary. What you're doing here is locking the box of binary. You legitimately are acting like a calculator that was just forced to divide by zero. Robots function in binary, humans don't. And the next thing I want to say is the comment you made about trans people was the single stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Let's just replay it.
This also invalidates trans people, because if you can feel and think what gender you have, then trans people wouldn't need surgery and hormonal injections to transform them into the gender that they want to be, because they would already think they're that gender.
You don't understand what trans people are, and I know I've fried your teensy weensy little fucking robot brain already, but let me tell you what really happens with trans people. GID, or gender identity disorder, is a disorder where someone feels overwhelming physical distress at the fact that they are born as another gender than what they feel like they belong to. I suffer with this, and has extreme effects that can vary from very mild gender dysphoria to crippling. This can include depression, horrid anxiety, panic attacks, self-harm, and eating disorder issues, purely because our bodies hate the fact that we were born a different gender. Or a different sex, to put it in your terms. And it's people like you who hold these same opinions is why so many people commit suicide. Because people are too stupid to know anything about gender and are so easily stuck on, oh well, I don't need to know about this. And immediately just state stupid fucking opinions they write on the internet. As well as this, a lot of countries around the world believe that mental health isn't a big of an issue as physical health. When in your own country, Australia, suicide kills around 4,000 people every year, 9 people every day, and 75% of those are men. Suicide is the biggest killer among population of 14 to 44. It's people with opinions like you who would hold treatment from trans people, life-saving treatment. So you may be asking, well, what treatment is there? Well, the suicide rate in the trans community prior to transitioning is around 41%, and after physical treatment, i.e. hormones and medical transition, in the people that do suffer from gender identity disorder, it drops to 0.1 to 0.5%. This is a disorder that is neurological in nature yet has physical symptoms. You stupid robot.
As non-binary people also identify as another gender other than male or female, or identify as having no gender at all, since I have destroyed the basis of the term non-binary.
Bro, shut the fuck up, you're not on the Tonight Show with Tucker Carlson.
People who identify as another gender can't exactly coin what the term for a third gender is, and they debunk themselves by calling it non-binary when everyone would be non-binary. It is also impossible to be born with no gender, and agender people also don't exist. And I have not seen any people who were born without genitalia and were simply genderless, because that doesn't happen, as sperm have certain chromosomes which give you the gender you'll become during fertilization.
You definitely failed biology in school. Because, as I've mentioned here before, a lot of geneticists out there have said that chromosomes don't really have a lot of part to play in gender. They do in sex. That's how people who are intersex are who they are. But once again, gender isn't associated with sex or biology.
So if you can identify as a different gender from the one that you actually have, then that means you can define as any race, age, or species you want, or not be any of those things at all.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think my brain just committed suicide.
I'm sorry, that is too stupid for me to actually respond to. Race and age are not created by society, they are defined by biology. Much like sex, like you mentioned. You cannot just stop aging, and as well you cannot just change whatever race you are unless you're Michael Jackson. You're picking very bad straw man arguments because you don't understand trans people, and probably because they do a lot better than you in life and now you're angry.
Because if that can happen with gender, it can also happen with all those other categories as well, which means you can objectively deny reality whenever you want to, and that's exactly what non-binary people do when it comes to gender. Also, has anyone seen any images of non-binary genitals or the non-binary reproductive system? We know that males have penises and females have vaginas, but I tried googling what non-binary genitals looked like, but I found nothing on the images. They simply don't exist, and there's been no research or scientific and medical studies that have been done on the non-binary reproductive system, because science is trying to study things that are true to learn more about them, not about something that doesn't exist and simply denies the reality.
The reason, mate, why there hasn't been any research done into non-binary reproductive systems is because scientists already know that there isn't a link between sex and gender. Plus, with the way that you said vagina, I know you've never seen one. Bro went to school with a wheel-along backpack. Also, fucking hell, if you're googling that shit, ASIO should really be checking your computer.
And then we have the pronouns, and oh boy, this will be fun. Most non-binary people use they, them as their pronouns, but we can see how very absurd that is when they, them are terms which are used when mentioning a group of people or one person you don't know the gender of. Why would someone have pronouns other than he, him, or she, her? Nobody would use the pronouns they, them if they already know the gender of the one person, or if there isn't more than one person. Using they, them as your pronouns isn't grammatically correct. But there's also ze, zim, which are pronouns which some non-binary people say are gender neutral, but those pronouns make no sense either and aren't actual words, as there are only two genders, only he, him, and she, her are right, but any other pronouns are not. So what did we learn today, class? We learned that non-binary isn't a valid gender, and that based on all the evidence I have, non-binary people do not exist. There are only two valid genders, male and female, and there is no evidence or physical and biological proof that any gender other than male and female is valid. If anyone watching this has any non-binary friends or knows anyone who is non-binary, please send this video to them and let them know that they're denying reality and that they have either a penis or a vagina and are actually one of the two genders. Thanks for watching.
That's over with. They, them pronouns are grammatically correct. Funnily enough, the other pronouns that you mentioned are neo-pronouns, which are a choice to go by. Now, if you're asking me what my source for all of this is, well, get ready. It's the man, the myth, the legend. Tom fucking Scott, everybody. Back in 2013, he made a video regarding why it's so stupid to use pronoun-based genders. Here's a few clips from those videos, and the full video is linked in the description. Right, so what did we learn today, class? That Australian robots are stupid. Today, thank you very much for watching my video. Go watch Shinzo's video, and go follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, we're getting very active, should be having a good time, and also really hope you enjoy your Christmas. I really enjoy having you guys as my fans, and you guys are way too good to me. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which may be after Christmas. But I love you all. Enjoy yourselves.